Welcome to Fat Man. I'm Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Hey! Holy fuck, it's been a red hot minute since we've been able to do this, man. I was off in Florida for a few weeks working on Kilroy was here, but Marc has been living the fucking fat life of a successful TV show writer. Is that right?
Ooh, a little bit.
Castle Rock, which Marc has written on, has finally dropped, as the kids say.
It has. In the time since we've been back, 6 episodes of the show have been released into the wild, including my episode, which was last week.
I saw I don't know if it was a tweet or an Instagram you put up of the title card with your name in the credits and shit.
know.
You were super proud. Give it up for him, man. He got it. What's it like when people like what you make? It's been a long time since I've felt that.
It's a bit like a warm bath, I think. You know, just
I remember.
Kind of swim in it a little bit and get all the nooks and crannies out. But no, it has been the most surreal fucking week and a half.
Why? Explain. Fill it in.
So the show dropped and the reviews have been pretty strong and the response that I've gotten online was pretty great. The show got picked up for a second season.
Oh shit! Congratulations!
Yes,
Give it
thank
up,
you.
man. Season 2.
Season 2 of Castle Rock. So that's great. And then the same week, they announced that the show that I'm currently working on, Treadstone, got its full series order at USA.
Oh shit, man! You're a magic magic totem, man. A magic charm.
I'm just saying, man. If you want to rub me for luck, it seems to be working.
Feels like the move, man.
And you guys paid to get in, so
that's fantastic. What's the nicest compliment or the fucking highlight? What's the thing that defines the experience now for you since the show has come out?
The thing that defines the experience was Shane Black tweeting how much he likes the show.
The fuck? Seriously?
Yeah.
The director of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Indeed.
And
Indeed.
Iron Man 3 Kiss Kiss Clang Clang? Oh, fuck, man. I got to interview him at San Diego for the IMDb because he's got that Predator movie coming out and shit. And I blew him up because I love his work. He fucking complimented you.
He did. He was like, Castle Rock is the real deal. It's actual for real horror. Everybody should watch it. I was like, motherfucker, you can't do that to me because I'm going to start to cry now. And Stephen King fucking tweeted about it. That might have been contractually obligated. I don't know. He also gets paid the more people watch it. So.
That's true, yeah. He's like, I like this as much as I liked Maximum Overdrive. What did he say?
He said, Stephen King said, look past the Easter eggs and you'll see real character-based horror, or something to that effect.
Are there many Easter eggs?
There's nods to things. There's little newspaper clippings talking about Cujo.
Seriously?
Yeah. One of the characters' names is everybody up to date? Is anybody going to give a shit if I spoil one thing? You're not, I know. But, okay, so Jackie, the female character played by Jane Levy, her last name is Torrance.
What?
Yes. And so she's the niece of Jack Torrance. And Andre Holland plays a character named Henry Deaver, who's got a son. The son's name is Wendell. And so...
Who's that?
Wendy. Jack and Wendy.
Oh, I thought you said Wendell.
His name is Wendell, but the whole idea is that...
He's going to have a kid one day.
Well, no, that Jack Torrance, Lady Jack Torrance, will have a relationship with man Wendell, and that relationship will go badly.
How does that tie into
Jack and Wendy?
Jack and Wendy.
Wendy.
Right, so it's a reference to them, but it's not the real
It is
Jack
not the real them.
Well, fuck your show then.
That was too long a walk.
God, you had me right in the palm of your hands. I'm like, oh, it's all connected. And you're like, no, it's not at all.
Yeah.
But that's cute. That's kind of nice.
I mean, so there's lots of little bits, lots of little shit in there that kind of rewards the deep King reader.
Right. So his point was don't worry about that. His tweet was to people like me. It was just hey, man, what about Cujo? Does Cujo show up? He's like, don't worry about that. They're making a good show.
Yeah. Well, if you look closely, there was a puppy walking down a street.
A St. Bernard?
No, I'm just fucking with you. But it could work.
Man, oh man, fucking, that's awesome. Good for you. So, Treadstone being picked up, that means, did you guys only do pilot? What was going on there? You haven't even shot anything yet.
No, they wrote a pilot script that got the network fucking excited, and then they opened up a room, and we've been working for about a month and a half, and then we finally got the "you get to keep getting paid" email of you got picked up for the full season.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What's that email like?
It's pretty great, man.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
As a dude who didn't work for most of last year to suddenly like have a job.
And two jobs, one right after the other.
I know, dovetailing like a motherfucker.
What happens when Castle Rock starts up again?
We'll see. We'll see.
Look at you being all coy. You're like, last year I didn't work. Now you're like, I'll pick one.
We'll see what happens.
That's awesome. Plus, he's saying that because he's got some shit in the hopper, man.
There's other shit in the hopper.
He talked about, did you talk about? Yeah, you talked about moving. Yeah, your project. You didn't say what it was.
I didn't say what it was, but there's the thing happening.
There's the thing happening.
Yes, and now we're starting to talk about directors for the thing that would happen.
All right, so that means it's happening
maybe
in a very positive way.
I mean, he and I are just having a fun conversation that we can't tell anybody else about, except that we are. So,
but I legit did not know about that fucking Castle Rock shit. Like, you kept that quiet. You didn't say anything. Yeah. I asked him the whole time you were making it. I was like, tell me some shit. He's like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Well,
doing that.
That's how we keep the relationship fresh. I just withhold some shit and then drop it on you 8 months later.
Is that what it is? Fair enough. Now I know the rules.
Yeah.
I got something apropos of nothing. I'm going to jump to this because I felt it in my pocket.
Tell me, please.
I got a belated birthday gift. Last August 2nd was my birthday. I turned 48, and we went and had a film festival out in New Jersey, a Vulgarthon in the town of Red Bank and stuff. So since I've been, and then I went down to Florida and shot. Kilroy was here for 10 days, which was excellent. Chris Jericho came down. A lot of people acted in it. Betty Aberlin was in it. Betty Aberlin, who was on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. She's been on a number of our films. She crushed it. Came out and did a part. She crushed it. Andy McElfrish's daughter Daisy came out and did a part. She crushed it. Ralph Garman from Hollywood Babylon came out and did a part. He fucking crushed it. And then Chris Jericho came out and did a part. And not only did he act, but we asked him, like, his character is a streamer, an online streamer called the Gator Chaser. So the premise of the short, it's, a Kilroy Was Here is kind of like Creep Show. There's a framing device that sets up your monster or whatever the fuck, and then 4 or 5 separate stories throughout the movie and stuff, little chapter stories, an anthology. So in putting that together, fuck, why did I jump off on that? Oh, so one of the segments, this Gator Chaser thing, doesn't look like the rest because it looks like, at one point it cuts to an iPhone shot, and clearly it's somebody streaming his handheld and shit. So you wouldn't have your DP necessarily shoot it, or your cameraman. I guess you could, but we were like, wouldn't it make more sense for the actor to shoot themselves, like right on a fucking phone and stuff, all low budge? So Chris Jericho came out in like the middle of the fucking night in Sarasota, where it's like 110 degrees fucking humidity and every bug crawling up your fucking sphincter. So he came out, that was nice enough, and he had a bunch of dialogue, not even dialogue, monologue to say, because he's just talking to the audience that's not there. So there's a bunch of shit to memorize. And then on top of that, I was like, you've got to shoot your own performance as well. Here's the camera. So like the difficulty level was very high, and he fucking executed. He didn't just execute, he elevated. He was fucking awesome. I was impressed by this. It's one thing to be good as an actor. It's another thing to like fucking carry another job completely altogether that you did not know you were going to do when you got to set. So that was a real fucking revelation and stuff. So I had a great time shooting down there. Then I came home and I got to open a bunch of shit that people sent me for my birthday. This is what I got from DC, the ultimate DC membership. It's a card, man, that puts me into that DC Universe app.
Ooh.
And I get to kind of check it out in advance and shit. A sweet gift, but I bought this shit already. I don't know why they thought I would have waited. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, I know, we'll get him something he can't possibly have, the DC app. The moment they announced the DC app, I was like, fuck you, take all my money.
Which
I think
you
I paid for 10 years in
every
advance.
Fucking episode.
I do. I've
fuck
been
you,
talking
take
about
my money. I'm already in on this shit.
And
they
still,
should know.
I guess I'm going to test it out, though, and turn it on, because maybe they know that I bought one. They're like, well, if we give them a blank card, happy birthday, idiot, you know. But I was very, it was delightful and I was very pleased and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I host a show called Fat Man on Batman. Like, I'm a fan. I'm in the bag for this shit.
Maybe we don't remind them because then they'll sue us for fucking using Batman in the name.
True.
For
but
like,
sooner or later, we have to change the name of the show. I hate saying that, but it went a lot longer than I ever thought it would. I always assumed sooner or later Warner Brothers would be like, stop it. But, but so far, so good.
Kevin.
But now it's just a series of tweets on the internet of people being like, it's false advertising because you're not fucking fat anymore. So I disagree. I could show them my shirt off and then they'll be like, never mind, keep calling it that, keep calling it that. But still, we might have to one day come up with a different name. What would you call it if you could have picked a name? Same fucking thing we do here. Remembering that when we started as Fat Man on Batman, it was literally fucking talking about Batman every episode. Now, clearly, like every once in a while, we're like, hey, Batman's still around and shit. So what would you call the show based on what it is now, what it's become right here in our home, which, by the way, I didn't announce. The Scum and Villainy Cantina right here in Hollywood Boulevard. Put your hands together so the folks at home know you're real.
Cosmo's been working on that shit for like a month.
That charms me and delights me no end, too. He did it when we were walking in. I was like, oh, my God, my childhood. So who?
Okay, later on for sure, man.
All right.
No. End of the night, you got it.
Yeah, but... No, not now. Sit the fuck down. No. We were just saying it's weird that you yelled out at this point of the show. Nobody ever does that and stuff. So, yeah, you're still doing it. So, just hands down. Here we go. Moving forward. What was I saying before that happened?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, new name. Because it's
New name.
Yeah.
So, based on the show recording here, this incarnation of what the show is, what would you call it?
Fuck, I don't know, man. I mean, Utility Belt was cool for a while. Like, we thought about that. Although it's still Batman adjacent. That's all fucking weird. I don't know. What do you think?
I always thought Spoilers, which is an old show that we used to do on Hulu, because technically it's what we do here.
It's true.
But I don't know. I don't know.
The recycle bin. Because we just read shit that I pulled off the internet that everybody else already knows.
Well, don't give them the secret recipe. I don't know. Good thing we don't have to come up with it tonight, but one day we might have to. Sooner or later, the good folks at DC are going to be like, look, man, this has gone on long enough. You don't own Batman, and then fucking we have to come up with another name, but that's not tonight.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah. And also, we'll take some suggestions from the folks at home. Not right now, but later. But anybody got any suggestions, man? Hashtag, what would you hashtag it? Man Bat?
Less fat man bat?
Rogues Gallery. That's fucking good, man.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but it's tough to spell. There'll be a lot of Rouge Gallery going on and stuff. I'm getting a lot of makeup tips. Hashtag Fat Man No More.
Ooh,
Sounds
nice.
more dramatic than it is.
I like it though.
Yeah, right. Because that's that hashtag might play in the real world. People will be like, oh, shit.
Okay, we're done. Good.
Yeah, really.
Thanks. Moving on.
Maybe that's what we call it. Fat Man No More, the podcast.
Ooh.
No, not at all.
Come on, man.
I'm sure there's a better one.
You
out
keep
there.
getting me there, and then you fucking let it down. Rogues Gallery. Ooh, no.
That's me. I'm a tease like
Yeah,
that.
Jesus, man.
All right, enough about all that. Do we have news?
We have some news, my friend.
This is the part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, where Mr. Marc Bernardin aggregates all the news that matters to folks like us, and we read the internet's news. Give it up for Marc. He found the news.
I spent so much time on this, you guys. You don't fucking know. It's like 25 minutes today. I couldn't give her the full half hour, but I think we got some good shit. Hey, did you know that Brendan Fraser is going to be in Doom Patrol?
What?
Yes.
As the chief?
As Robot Man Cliff Steele.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah, man.
But wait, is he going to be a guy in makeup? Or
No. He's gonna do the voice.
Ah.
And they're gonna shoot some flashback shit. So before he gets all metallicized.
So when he's Cliff, before he's Robot Man.
But he's doing the voice. They got another dude to wear the suit, and they got another dude, I think, for the CG stuff. I'm sure they're gonna be doing a lot of that.
So the suit is a motion capture thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, they're spending some money on that shit. They'd have to. The Doom Patrol is a concept that, even more so than Titans, lends itself to the fantastic. You're talking about Negative Man. You're talking about the lady that gets all fucking huge and shit like that. Robot Man. The cheapest effect, I guess, is Chief, right? He's just a dude in a chair and stuff.
And this woman, Crazy Jane, blah, 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 Cyborg.
Yeah.
All right, sure.
How soon before they do Monsieur Mala and the Brain? If you don't know the Doom Patrol, one of their arch villains is a giant gorilla named Monsieur Mala, and he carries around a brain in a jar called the Brain. It's so fucking wacky. DC created this, I think, before Marvel, before Stan created the X-Men, correct? They were there like a minute beforehand, if I remember my comic book history correctly. And if you look at both concepts, like Professor X is in a wheelchair, Niles Calder is in a wheelchair, the Chief. They're misfits as well, just like the X-Men were kind of misfits and stuff. Similar concept. So you can go great places with the Doom Patrol, man. I look forward to it in a big bad way. And that's a good casting. He's fucking wonderful.
What the fuck was going on with everybody creating hyper-intelligent gorillas? Was there like something in the water at that moment? Where
DC
like,
specialized
Gorilla Grodd, fucking Monsieur Mala. Like Marvel's got like 2 or 3 of them. Like, did they think we loved super smart monkeys?
This is my theory, and I could be wrong, and somebody could easily disprove it. Depending on when these characters were created, maybe it was the Planet of the Apes influence.
All right.
You had a series of successful sci-fi movies with talking apes and stuff, so they were like, oh shit, this plays in comics. Like if you look at Marvel in the 70s, they followed every fucking trend there was, including Satanism. Remember Satan got real big in the 70s? People were like, have you met the devil? And there was like the Church of Satan and shit. And Marvel was like, and they had, what was it? Exorcist had done well and shit like that. The Omen, Rosemary's Baby.
Anton LaVey wrote like the Satanist Handbook.
It's like people really discovered the devil in the late 60s, early 70s. And Marvel fucking like created the Son of Satan character and
Damien
shit.
Hellstrom.
Yes. Like they went big into it and stuff. And now, now they don't talk about it as much, I guess. Like, yeah, we don't do the Satan thing anymore since Disney bought us.
We got like a cute chick, Satana. We can kind of still do that every now and again. But
yeah, I guess that would be my guess as to where the talking gorilla stuff came from. Plus, it's just if you're making a comic book, like particularly if you were making a comic book pre-internet, pre-television, pre-cable TV and stuff. Like, when they were originally selling comics to kids, and this is the only thing kids really had to do, other than play with that giant circle with a stick that you see in fucking old-timey fucking cartoons and shit.
And like pick up sticks?
Yeah.
Like, pick that shit up.
Or put
it's
on
a game.
Elaborate fucking shows like the Little Rascals and shit like that and make money off it and stuff. Back then, showing a kid a talking gorilla, I'm sure they were like, oh my God, could you imagine what will ever be better than this? And then one day you're like, the Matrix, motherfucker. Let that blow your mind. But that is a great casting call, great casting choice. I was already in the bag for that series, but that makes me go like, oh, that's clever, that's good.
Really smart.
Excellent use of Brendan Fraser.
Which we haven't gotten nearly enough of.
That's true, though.
Are you a James Bond fan? Where does your Bond love fall? A scale of 1 to 10. Is it 007?
My father was a big James Bond fan, so naturally that makes me something of a James Bond fan because he took me to all the movies, but he loved when new Bond movies came out. And Bond was like a demarcation line, a bar by which all other movies were judged when I was a little kid until Raiders of the Lost Ark. When I went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark, I went to see it with my father, and I came back, and I was telling my friend Ernie about it. Nobody else had seen it. Nobody else was talking about going to see it. And I was like, I saw this movie with this guy, and he was played by Han Solo. It was Harrison Ford, man. And this guy, he plays Indiana Jones. He's better than Bond, man. Like, that was the nearest parallel I could find. And Ernie wanted to fight me. He's like, no one's better than Bond. And I was like, trust me, you'll see this shit. And he saw it, and he did agree with me. He's like, he's an American James Bond and shit. And jingoistically, we embraced Indiana Jones together. So I like Bond, some more than others and stuff. But I'm like Ralph Garman loves James Bond. I can take it or leave it. Yeah, it's not quite like the old Star Trek movies where I'm like, oh, I love all the even-numbered ones. I like a lot of James Bond movies, but not all of them. So.
Well, Raiders, I'm not sure if you know this. You probably do, though. Spielberg wanted to make a James Bond movie.
What?
He desperately wanted to make a James Bond movie, and he went.
They wouldn't let him?
Because there had been a rule, maybe still in place, that only British directors could direct a James Bond movie. And
what about the guy?
There's one, Lee Tamahori, who made one of the shittier
Tomorrow Never Dies or something like that.
Is
the world
from
is
New
not
Zealand, which I think is kind of technically a British territory. But everybody else has been British, and that has been a long-standing rule. And Spielberg desperately wanted to make it, and they wouldn't let him, so he made Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wow.
And the fucking tagline was like, better than Bond, bigger than something else.
That said that somewhere?
Yeah.
I thought that was my original thought.
You said it somewhere.
I could have pointed Ernie to the poster if that was the case. They fucking say it right on the poster.
Yeah, and Quentin wanted to make a Bond movie for a long time.
I heard that he wanted to do Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And that's when they wound up making Casino Royale, and they actually made it kind of dark, like not the usual light fare. So was that the first Daniel Craig one? Mm-hmm. That was the one where he gets whammed in the nuts with the rope and shit. It's about as dark as it gets, man. Sit here, schwap.
The best part is every James Bond movie they screen at Royal Albert Hall, I think, in the UK, and the Queen was present for Casino Royale because I think she always fucking goes to these things. And so there's a moment where the Queen of England is watching James Bond get whaled in the fucking nuts. Very nice. Do it again. Once more for the cheap seats.
I'm sure she's like, oh, bother. All right, man.
But yes, they have lost another director. Danny Boyle was supposed to direct James Bond 25.
Did he direct one before or
This
no?
was supposed to be his first one. Oscar winner Danny Boyle.
Who did it prior to him?
Sam Mendes.
Oh, Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's right. This was going to be Danny Boyle's first.
Yeah.
He's out.
He's out.
Why?
He's done. Creative differences.
What does that mean?
I think. My guess is he wanted to do shit that the Broccoli family didn't want him to do. And I don't know what that is. Totally. And I think there's also an open question about, because Daniel Craig, this is his last one. He said that for the last 2 or 3. But there's been a big groundswell of like, why the fuck is Idris Elba not James Bond already?
Yeah.
Plus.
There was a tweet he put up last week where he was like, Idris Elba.
Right. You know,
and people were like, no,
yes!
Shit.
And then some are like, no, he's always white.
Was there?
Yeah.
Still? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, no. It's because, the internet, man.
Yeah.
They will always find a way to shit on the good.
I guess I don't do the entire internet, because the internet I saw seemed very high on the idea.
Most of us are, because we know that it's just fucking Elba, and he'd be amazing in everything. But there are some
regardless, though, Daniel Craig is doing one more.
He's doing one more.
I thought the last one, he was just like, I'm fucking through. I'm done with this shit. And they were like, cha-ching. And he was like, one more time. One more time. Who do you think should take it over if it has to be a British director?
Chris Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but isn't that like fucking taking a Lamborghini to go to the convenience store? Like he's a film genius.
Yeah, but he did Batman.
Oh, good point. Good point.
I mean, he's not.
He used Batman as a ladder to get to the genius level and stuff. But yeah, you're right. He has worked franchise.
And as a kid, I'm sure as every other fucking British kid has, like James Bond was the hero. Like James Bond or Doctor Who, and I don't know if he's going to do fucking TV in Cardiff, so maybe I guess he just does James Bond and spends...
You've sold me. I would like to see a Chris Nolan James Bond movie, what that would look like. A lot of spinning tops and shit like that.
just bullets that never fall.
Totally. Whole movie happens in reverse.
I wonder if George Miller qualifies.
Who?
As an Australian, does George Miller qualify? Because I would watch the fuck
Excellent pull.
Out of James Bond Fury Road.
Yeah, that's true. The man that gave us Mad Max.
Why is everything on fire?
Yeah, because it's George Miller time. All right, well, fucking sad to see Danny Boyle go, but like he usually does interesting flicks every time out, so it's not like he's hurting. I'm sure
He'll be
have
fine.
Something else to do.
He'll consult his Oscar and be like, what should I do next?
That's right, he's got one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fuck, dude. If I was him, I made Train Spotting. I'd be cruising on that for the rest of my life. I made Clerks, and I'm cruising on that for the rest of my life. This motherfucker made Train Spotting. Like, he don't have to lift a finger for the rest of his life. That's a beautiful, perfect fucking movie. What? He also made Train Spotting too, which is a worthy follow-up. Yeah, it's true. He is kind of riding the train, isn't he? But that's a worthy follow-up. I like that movie. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he can cruise in neutral for the rest of his career if he likes. But he never seems to do that. He always swings for the fences. Mm-hmm. God knoweth why. Work smarter, not harder, I say. What's next?
We didn't get to talk about Ruby Rose being cast as Batwoman.
That's awesome. I just saw her in the Shark movie. I went to see The Meg yesterday.
Did you like The Meg?
I saw her in that Shark movie. They got my money. Isn't that enough?
Did Jason Statham kick a shark in the face?
No.
Why would you make a movie with Jason Statham where he doesn't kick a fucking shark in the face?
He does something else. I ain't going to spoil it, but how many people saw The Meg? Put your hands together real quick.
Wow. It's fucking huge.
They made a lot of money.
They
I don't know who they
47 million, I think,
tricked into
opening
going
weekend.
and shit. But yeah, they certainly got me. Me and the kid were excited. This was a daddy-daughter date. Like, I was like talking to her from Florida, and she was like, "You can't go see The Meg without me." I was like, "I will never go see The Meg without you. I love you, kiddo." And this was something we look forward to doing together. And we even brought like Gail, Jen's mom, with us, Harley's Nana. All three of us go see The Meg, man. And
Yeah.
tough sit. But he doesn't punch a shark, but he does something in the third act with a shark.
Does he fuck it? Handsome Rob.
Why would I be complaining about that movie? I would have opened with, "I saw the most amazing movie of all time. No wonder it made $100 million. Jason Statham fucked a shark.
Handsome
I'm
Rob.
quitting the
gets a
film
decent
business
shot.
because there's nothing left to do, man." Yeah, it was. The trailer was amazing. Promised a lot of shark.
Does he arm wrestle the shark?
No, but the way he takes it out, like, I was really like profoundly bothered by. He shouldn't have been. In that moment in the movie, he should be like, "Yeah, kill that fucking shark. We want it to die." But the way he takes it out, I was like, that's fucking horrible. Like, that's how mean and fucking shitty and oh, it was weird.
Does he leave it in the bottom of a shower and then put the hot water on it for a long time until it dies?
Like you, the way you killed your gecko. Marc told this story a couple episodes back where he fucking burned a gecko to death
I
and shit.
executed a gecko
For the fucking lone crime of being in a shower.
for sharing my space.
He was like, "I don't want cheaper insurance." All right.
So yes, Ruby Rose cast as Batwoman for the new crossover event.
Was good in the She was legit good in the Shark movie. I think she'll make a great Batwoman.
I think so too. You know who doesn't?
Let me guess. Some of the internets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet came for her.
Did they have an opinion?
They had every opinion, save good ones.
What? But
apparently
you know
it was-
what? But I'm not gonna bury the lead. I actually know this story a little bit, and the thing that
Do
I
you?
find confounding is that they were like, "Hey man, if you're gonna hire somebody to play Batwoman, you gotta hire a lesbian to play Batwoman because Batwoman's a lesbian and stuff, and you hired this Ruby Rose instead." And then Ruby Rose jumped on Twitter to be like, "I've been a lesbian since I've been 14. Like, I'm out, proud. Like, what? I'm about as lesbian as it gets."
I've lost roles because I'm lesbian.
Yeah. And so she left social media, and not
She did.
because people were going, "Ill, you're a lesbian," because you're not lesbian enough to play Batwoman.
Yes.
Wow. It's getting to be a thin tightrope out there, isn't it, man?
It really is. You know, the only upshot and it's not even an upshot to that story, but the idea of being chased off fucking social media by bigots and hate mongers is Kelly Marie Tran wrote an amazing story today in the New York Times.
That piece.
Just talking about, the level of internalized, inward, self-directed hate that you feel, that she felt as a person of color growing up in this country, especially as an Asian woman of color. And like just talking about things like, I tried my hardest to forget Vietnamese.
That was heartbreaking.
Because, kids would make fun of me. Like, I speak in perfect English, and people would say, oh, you have an exchange student here. It's like, no, I'm fucking born here. And just that sense of wanting to erase her own ethnicity because whiteness was the default, and how running away from Instagram and Twitter and social media felt like a surrender to that particular mindset.
Right.
But that she found a voice, and she found herself, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful, especially on the heels of shit like this happening apparently every 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's look, I can't speak to her experience, but for most of my career, because I was Silent Bob or whatever the fuck. A lot of people were like, hey, big guy, they call you big guy. And you're like, oh, I'm the big guy because I'm in charge, not realizing that it's a very nice way of calling you fat guy. And then when Southwest Airlines happened, I got kicked off the plane, too fat to fly, that felt like the whole world knowing that I was fucking fat. Like, they all did, but that felt like, oh my God, everyone knows. Suddenly the eye of Sauron fell on me. And it was horrifying, man, to be made to feel like the other. And I'd enjoyed inclusion for so long. And, I'm a fucking white person, so I'm included fucking everywhere. But unfortunately, I was also ostracized for a long portion of my life because I didn't look kind of fucking normal. And it sucks to be made to feel that way. The closest I ever came to jumping off of Twitter forever was during Too Fat to Fly, because there was legit fat hate, not just fucking stop crying or whatever, but disgust for I hate having to sit next to fuckers like you on a plane and blah blah. It was just really fucking weird. And I've tasted a little bit of that shit. She tasted a universe full of fucking hate and still had the composure to come back and write a really fucking beautiful piece. Something beautiful did come from that horrible experience. Do you know if she's going to come back to social media?
I don't know.
Why bother? And not that fuck social media, but I bet you're more productive not having that one more thing to do.
I wish that I could get rid of it. I wish I could quit social media, but I can't. And I think also she was probably, speaking for her, which I shouldn't do, but the fact that this piece came out the same weekend, after the weekend the Crazy Rich Asians opened, to $28 million, which covers its budget, which raptures reviews, which, the first mainstream Hollywood movie to feature a predominantly Asian cast
since
and filmmaking
the Joy
crew.
Luck Club,
since Joy Luck
23
Club.
years ago or something.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. In almost every way you can measure a thing is ridiculous.
Yes.
It qualifies. So yeah, maybe just the confluence of events were enough to sort of say, fuck it. Why? I don't need to hide who I am anymore. I don't need to hate myself for who I am anymore. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Amen.
Yeah. So, hey, did you watch Veronica Mars on TV?
I not only did I watch it.
Is that the most abrupt?
Yeah, what a fucking left turn pivot that was.
There's no way I'd pull out of that fucking dive unless you're just going to.
That's not a good dive. That's a real moment. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, I watched, not only did I watch it, I was on Veronica Mars season 2.
What?
Yeah, I was guess what? I played a convenience store clerk, so it was a real fucking stretch. But yeah, I got to be on the show. But Dan Etheridge is a friend of mine. He's a producer was a producer on that show.
It is. It's coming back.
He told me a long time ago, and I've been sitting on that information for a while, which proves that you can tell me shit. Yeah, he told me a while back. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to say anything that hasn't been said. What does it say?
Okay, it's looking like it's getting another chance on Hulu. They're going to do another season.
That's exactly what I heard. Keep going.
With Veronica Mars. Kristen Bell, who's going to split time between The Good Place and Veronica Mars.
Exactly what I heard. My first question was how's she going to do that? She's already on a show. They're very amenable, and she wants to do this in a big bad way. I don't know her very well. I know her a little bit over the years and stuff. She's from what I've gathered, a lovely person, but she has been so fucking supportive of that show. she, after Frozen, she easily could have been like, Veronica, who? But she still fucking brings it back to life, which I think is incredibly admirable. I like that, man. She sticks by that show. And that show, first season of Veronica Mars, if you've never seen it, is as fine a fucking first season of a series as ever was. A fantastic fucking mystery. It roped you in. They had just enough mythology at the end of each episode to kind of keep you going with the main mystery involving Lily Kane and stuff. But incredibly well acted, great diverse characters and stuff. Beautiful father-daughter relationship, one that you don't really see on TV that often. Such a great fucking show. So I'm glad to hear that it's getting another. I hope they do that until she fucking dies. I hope they turn this shit into Murder, She Wrote. When she's like 80 years old and she's still doing V Mars and shit. Because if they need a guy to work the convenience store, God willing, I'll still be around. I'll come out and do it. But I'm glad they're getting to do it again.
Yeah, there's no word yet on how many episodes, when it's going to come back. They're
I know.
Still
I know all that
deal.
shit, but I can't reveal it.
All right, well, fuck it. Why am I telling you shit you already know then?
I'm glad
Just tip
to
a
know
brother off, man.
No, you wouldn't fucking even tell me about Cujo.
All right.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
Nice.
What? Michael Winslow's here?
Cujo?
Did you do a cop car?
What cop car? What else you got?
Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, they were going to make a Star Trek 4, or 14, however that works out in the numbering.
They were going to make a new Star Trek movie.
They were, where Chris Hemsworth was going to reprise his role as George Kirk.
Which I was all for. He played Kirk's dad in the first few minutes of the JJ Star Trek, which was a fantastic fucking scene.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, I don't like that Star Trek. There's too much running around. They don't act like the characters and shit.
It's all lens flaring.
Yeah, if you're in that camp, you got to admit that opening scene, Kirk born in flames is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And him being born as his father sacrifices his life and fucking like a built-in bias against Star, like all of that shit, man, was like I don't give a fuck if you like the original incarnation. I'm not taking that away from you. You got to admit that's really good fucking storytelling.
Totally. And to get that scene with Bruce Greenwood, who says like your father was captain of a starship for 2 minutes, and in that time he saved
You're gonna make me
800
cry.
lives.
Oh my God, it's such a good scene.
I dare you to
do better. Fuck, that's good. No wonder they gave him Star Wars, man. He's good. All right, so yeah.
So yeah, Hemsworth was supposed to come back. It was supposed to be a whole time travel loop-de-doo.
Which would have been awesome because he could have teamed up with his dad and shit, and maybe
Yes.
saved his dad from the fucking sacrifice. And you know,
Yup.
whatever. You time travel. Maybe whales were involved because it's Star Trek. Who
I
knows?
fucking hope so. It's not going to happen.
Why?
Money. Sorry. That's how that goes.
How much do they need? I got like $20 on it. Because I
I wrote
really
the
want to see
ATM.
this shit happen. I think it'd be fun. What's the money thing? They're not getting paid enough?
The problem is that both Chris Pine and now Chris Hemsworth are giant fucking movie stars.
All right, so what are they? Even at max, $20 million apiece.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you get them to do, come on, boys, like you take
15.
a ride with
We're
us
all-
on the back
We're,
end.
we're both Chris's. We can all just fucking play games.
How about this? 10 against 10.
Sure.
So 10 up front, $10 million, and then 10% of back end first dollar gross. There.
Yes.
I've done the deal. Call them up.
Make it all better.
Make it all happen. Make
Yeah.
it so.
But
as
then
they
you've got
say.
like everybody fucking else in that cast who also needs to get paid. And it turns out that those movies were never like gigando box office hits. They all did well. They all made money. But none of them made over 350, 400 million worldwide.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it's like
they're counting pennies.
They're healthy performers, but they're not fucking Avengers movies.
Right.
And so you're not going to back up the money truck.
But to be fair, nothing's a fucking Avengers movie.
I know. But, that is what it is.
So what? This is their agents going, nah, we want more.
I think so. I mean, is it possible that they'll go back to the table and fucking negotiate and make it happen? Hopefully, maybe.
I think Star Trek really has no choice, man. They can't recast. Chris Pine is fantastic. Like it was chancy bringing another Kirk into the world. They found like the one guy who can pull it off where it doesn't sound like an impression, but it totally homages an entire fucking body of work in a character. So, you got to bring him back. Yeah. Maybe, you let go of the dad storyline if you can't get Hemsworth to come down a little bit. But, you can't do those Star Treks without that Kirk. He was great.
Although there's also the Quentin Tarantino Star Trek that he was developing, which I don't know what that story was, but it seems to have been in tandem development, so probably would not have featured the JJ cast.
Is that right?
I don't think it was gonna. I think it was supposed to be some totally different, altered, splinter timeline, whatever.
All right, so if you tell me I can't have Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, if I can't have Chris Squared teaming up in a Trek movie, but I can have Quentin Tarantino doing a Trek movie.
Captain Samuel L. Jackson.
I don't care if he... Oh, my God. Holy shit.
I want you to fire a photon torpedo right up that ship's ass.
I want these motherfucking Klingons off this motherfucking ship.
Beam me the fuck up.
I don't care if he cast children. I would watch that movie. Like if it was like Bugsy Malone version of Star Trek, and Quentin's just like, I cast kids because I thought it'd be cool. And then but that's a shame. I hope they work out the money thing.
Yeah, me too.
I can play mediator if they want. I'll be like, come on, man. Everyone wants to see this, and they're like, their agent. That's what the problem here is. Agents are involved. Yes. If I could just like get rid of their agents and talk sense to those actors, I bet you they'd want to do it because it sounds like a fucking fun movie. But somebody out there is like, no, they got to get paid. These are the dollars that are going to last them into the years of their lives, and blah blah blah. So I'm all for people getting paid, but that's too good an idea to leave behind.
Yeah.
But if your point is they don't make enough money to support that kind of financial decision, then maybe they got to meet in the middle, man. They got to boldly go where no man has gone before. I hope so, because I like that guy, and I think that idea was a really good idea.
Last story. Did you, in your while you were down in Florida making movies, did you see what the Film Academy decided to do about the Oscars?
No. Invite me yet again?
They decided to create a new category called Best Popular Film.
What?
Yeah. Because ratings are down. The last Oscar telecast was the worst that they've had in a long time.
So there'll be a Best Picture.
Yes.
And then a Best Picture popular. That everyone likes.
Correct.
I guess, like, or you could just, I don't...
Because, like, in that configuration, there's no way in the world...
Is that going to make anybody watch that show? Make one more person watch that show? Like, oh, shit, they nominated the Avengers.
Right.
Like, you can get the Avengers to show up and present awards, and that does, like, didn't a few of them come to the last Oscars? And the ratings
they
didn't
always
go
fucking
up?
come.
I don't think that... look, they could do whatever they want with their super fun, happy club, but I don't think that makes one extra person want to watch the Oscars.
Am I wrong? What they will tell you is that the Oscars had its best ratings ever when, like, Fellowship of the Ring was nominated and won. I'm sorry, when Return of the King won Best Picture.
Great,
when
so that should win every year, and then people will watch it over and over again, I guess.
When Titanic won, like, everybody fucking watched. They will tell you that when a giant blockbuster wins, then more people show up to see if it'll win. And they'll say that when The Artist wins and Hurt Locker wins, nobody gives a fuck.
Well, they could do whatever they want. I'm not telling people how to run their fucking show, but isn't the point of the Academy Awards, long before television was involved, to honor the fucking best and brightest in the field who belong to the Academy? What does that have to do with... Well, more people watch the show when fucking a good movie wins an award. Like, why does that matter?
It only matters to the Academy because that is the one way they really make money, is by selling the rights to that to ABC and charging them more and selling ads during the telecast and making that cash. But my fear is that in the same way that, like, Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
Like, just straight up fucking, this was one of the best movies made this year.
Yeah.
And then when that
happened... They didn't
happened,
qualify it as an animated film.
Right.
It was nominated
after
for Best
that
Picture.
happened, the
One of
Oscars
five.
were like, 1 of 5. They were like, fuck that. We don't want to give one of these slots to a fucking cartoon. Let's make a separate category for them to have to play in their little ghettoized cartoon corner. And so now there is never going to be, The Dark Knight up for Best Picture. There's never going to be Mad Max Fury Road up for Best Picture. There's never going to be Get Out up for Best Picture. If they're going to now say, well, movies people like get to go over here. We're going to reward the shit that nobody saw, some of which is beautiful and lovely and glorious. But if it's all going to be a bunch of indie movies that were released in December 24th to make the cutoff, then that doesn't seem to be what the Oscars are about.
And also, aren't there a number of award shows for what people like People's Choice? Even the Golden Globes seems to be more what people like or whatever. Why does the Oscars want to do that?
For some reason, they're still on MTV and they still have a movie awards. Do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, believe me, I am mad, and I'm not like, we got to stop this. But it just seems like, I don't think that fixes their problem. Like, at the end of the day, sometimes more people watch the Oscars than not. Like, you know, if you, and I guess, like, they've got 10 slots for Best Picture now, correct?
Yeah, which they added a couple years ago to make
for
room
this fucking
for that very
purpose,
thing.
to be like, to include movies that are a little more mainstream. I don't know. Does not the, where would Black Panther go?
Black Panther, I mean, it will qualify for the regular fucking Oscars because this doesn't take effect till 2020. So it will be a Best Picture nominee. In 2021, that movie would be a Best Popular Picture.
And how much weight is the category going to be given against the Best Picture category?
If I had to guess, it will come right after Best Foreign Film.
So not a lot of weight.
Not a ton of weight. You know, like, because it's not the big award, but it's that's front loaded in the telecast to make sure people fucking show up and call it quits.
Hey man, again, their club, their rules, they can do whatever they want. I don't think that really helps.
No, short-sighted. It feels
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
What a weird, sad story to end on.
Sorry. Castle
Oh,
Rock
I got it
Season
here.
2.
I'll throw some.
what do you got?
Yeah, they.
Are you making a comic book?
I am making a comic book. So I've talked about on a few shows. Mr. Marc Miller over at Miller World asked me, they were bringing back Hit Girl in a standalone book of her own with a bunch of different artists and writers taking on the characters. Thank you. And so he asked me to do an arc, and I said, oh, well, God, that'd be fun and stuff, because I loved the movie, I loved the comic books as well. So I wrote it, and 4 issues, comes out in January, and they just announced the artist. And we had the artist on here not too long ago, standing over there, is Pernille, who designed the DC superhero girls. And I'm kind of like proud of this. I mean, I don't know if I'm proud, but I put her forward. I was like, I love her art. Hire her. She's the first woman to draw Hit Girl, like who'll be published to draw Hit Girl. I think they hired another woman to draw it as well, but I think Pernille's run comes out before the other one, man. So I was like, yay! Like we got somebody on the book that's like a woman, doing Hit Girl. Makes sense. Felt a little weird that I was writing it. And there was going to be a guy drawing it and stuff. So I'm so happy for her because I love her style. I loved what she did with the DC superhero girls and stuff. And I know what the scripts are about. I don't know why Marc Miller was out there. He said something about like, this is set in Hollywood, and he was indicating like she's going after sexual predators. That's not the story I wrote at all. Just for the record, it's Hit Girl, it's called The Golden Rage of Hollywood, and the idea is that she comes to Hollywood. In the first issue, she finds a book about her, like a true fiction crime novel called Heretofore Hit Girl. And on the bottom of the back cover it says, soon to be a major motion picture. So she goes to Hollywood to stop it. I just stole the plot from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Which, when I made that movie, everyone's like, this is a comic book movie. I was like, all right, well, this is a comic book. And so I used it for that. It's fun. It's good times and stuff. But I think the story, which is very, madcap and violent, as those stories tend to be, is going to look real good in her style. Her style is very, it's Disney-ish. She draws in the very Disney style. So I've seen, not only some of her sketches, but she sent me a page of artwork, and it's gorgeous. So I can't wait till people see that. January it'll be out.
I am going to suck your dick a little bit.
Ooh!
Because the thing one of the things I've always loved about you is that you use your position and your privilege to help elevate people who would not normally get elevated to that position.
Explain.
So, you in your podcast universe, in your gallery of your cavalcade of stars,
Yes.
it could have easily been, it started with you and Scott, could have been you in a parade of, dudes and beards. But you gave Ming a platform to tell his story, what his life is like, what his world is like, how he navigates existence.
Yes.
You gave Malcolm a voice and gave him a leg up, so people who would not ordinarily know have
That might be a
understood.
mistake, but yes,
Well,
I did.
But if there's a part of your fan base that doesn't know what it's like to be a giant gay dude, now they know. You gave me a platform and get to talk to people who would not ordinarily get to have conversations with somebody like me about the shit that I care about and how I enter the world. And you're giving a female artist a chance to do a book that she absolutely would not have gotten the chance to do before unless you had asked for her. Like, that is what privilege can do. You can help introduce voices and people into a community that would not ordinarily have it. So
this is that's definitely one way to look at it. The prism. I prefer the prism that you look through, but for me, it's all selfish. Like, these people are talented. Like, why wouldn't I want to ally myself with these people? You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's you or fucking Ralph or Andy or like, that's what I love about the Smodcast, the network. When I first started Smodcast. And it's been 11 years now, 11 years and change we've been doing Smodcast. So in the beginning, like, we were figuring out what it was. We didn't know what it was and stuff. And then one day I was like, oh shit, this is my biography. It's my unwritten biography. Here I get to tell every fucking story, and if you listen to all these episodes, it's like the story of my life told from beginning to end and shit like that. So yes, Smodcast will be my biography. And then we started adding like other shows, like first Tell 'em Steve Dave, which like were my friends, but I was happy to showcase them because I always thought they were really funny. And then as the podcast network grew, I realized it wasn't my biography, it was this wonderful showcase and spotlight for all the people that I've stood beside or with who've made me look good, and I know that they are far more talented, more special, have something more to offer than I did. Like, I had luck and timing on my side. I made a movie at the right fucking time and stuff like that, and I've been able to string it out to like a fucking quarter of a century career. But like, if I was just left to my own devices, I would have been left in the dustbin of cinematic history. People would be like, oh, I think he made a movie once, that black and white movie set in a mall or something like that. But because I've allied myself with people who are talented and people who take me in a different direction and take me on these wonderful journeys, my career keeps going. So it's not like me going like, I'm gonna help this person out. It's me going, I'm gonna help myself. Like, when I brought you into Fat Man on Batman, it was because I liked the show more when you were on it. I was like, yeah, I like talking to people, but I like when we do that. And then when we built it and rebuilt it here, I was like, this is the fucking move and stuff. So I appreciate the shout out, but at the same time, I'd be stupid not to use the resources around me. It's like, especially with all the talent there is and the places we can go. So thanks, but it's a very mutually beneficial relationship.
we sucked each other's dick.
We do. Okay, so that's all the news we got. Marc found you the news. Give it up for fucking Marc, man. Now, we come to the eagerly anticipated part of the show. You're going to get it. You're going to get to be first.
Shitting himself with glee.
This
Come on,
is
man.
the part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, that people seem to dig the best. I dig it as well, but I like hearing the news more than anything else because I usually learn something. But I love doing the Q&A part of the show because people seem to get stuff out of it. I always read the reactions later on online and stuff. And, a lot of people out there want to do some version of what you and I have been lucky enough to do. Mm-hmm. And here in this format, we usually don't hold back, put it on Front Street, and people seem to get something out of it, so that makes me happy as fuck. So we're about to jump into what was a long way of saying is everyone's favorite part of Fat Man on Batman, the Q&A, ladies and gentlemen. The Q&A is about to begin. Now, we have very simple rules for our Q&A, man. You can ask anything you want, but it should be something that both me and Marc can answer. If it's something that's me specific, or on the rare occasion Marc specific, where somebody's just like, how's your mom, Marc, or something like that. It's best if it's a question that goes kind of both of us, something that we can both kind of answer and do a big think on. If you do that correctly, you're going to win some tickets, man. I don't know if you people have ever been to a 4DX theater in your lives, but if you haven't, you are missing out on the experience. The 4DX movie allows you to sit in a chair that fucking moves and shit, and it blows water in your face. It's like getting fucked. It's that good. There's a lot of movement and shit gets thrown in your face and whatnot.
And there's a movie star there.
And a movie happens. If they're on a motorcycle and they skid out, you smell the burnt rubber. If it's snowing, I always use this example. In the beginning of Civil War, it was snowing. It snowed in the theater when I was watching it. I was like, this is a miracle. And I opened my mouth to try to catch it on my tongue, and they ran in and said, don't, it's chemicals. And so they didn't do that. It is a fantastic experience. If you've never seen a movie in 4DX, make sure you go see it. But we'll give you an opportunity here with the Q&A. We got 5 sets of 2 tickets, man. You could go see the 4DX Theater here in town is down at LA Live. Mm-hmm. So these tickets will get you into there, and I imagine they'll get you into a number of 4DX theaters around the United States, but that's the one that's closest to us. We get these tickets given to us free by the good folks at 4DX because of Brett Deacon, man. Give it up for the good friend of the show, Brett Deacon. Okay, man, we got 5 sets of tickets to give away, and we have a very eager question asker who's been wanting to go for an hour, man. He's been waiting. He's been pinching it for an hour. JC, bar proprietor here at Scum and Villainy. Give it up for JC, ladies and gentlemen. JC is going to be the human mic stand as we talk to my man. What's your name, my friend?
My name is Jose Rodriguez.
Give it up for Jose. He's the first question of the night. What can we do you for, Jose?
I personally feel that the Ben Affleck, and I know you have a personal connection to Ben Affleck.
That's one way to put it.
His Batman movies are unduly not regulated, underrated because of Christian Bale's amazing portrayal of Batman. He is unjustly
maligned.
Yes, that's a great word. Against Christian Bale because Christian Bale exists. No one wants to argue against Christopher Nolan's interpretation of Batman.
Look, we're all maligned because Christian Bale exists. Because nobody could live up to that impossible standard. The man's a genius.
But why give Ben Affleck such a bad rap when he's just trying to go against a god?
In the movie.
In a movie. Obviously in a movie, not in the real world.
As far as we know.
Yeah. Well, he did in a movie.
No one's told me otherwise.
I saw him go against God once in a movie called Dogma. But other than that...
All right.
I made that.
But...
All right, but getting back to the point, the question is, why is Ben unfairly maligned? I think he's... I think if you think back to when Batman v Superman came out, he was the one that actually skated. He got a lot of fucking praise. Like there were people going, this movie's got a lot of issues. Ironically, Affleck as Batman is not one of them. That was my recollection of people's reaction to BVS. They had issues with, the tone and the darkness and shit like that. But he was the one thing that most people agreed was really good in the movie.
I think that a great performance can survive a bad movie. I think, I have a shit ton of love for Rip Torn and Beastmaster. That movie's a piece of shit, but Rip Torn is killing it.
What a deep cut pull that was, man. Took me right back to the early days of HBO in 1983 where I'm watching it over and over.
I don't think Ben Affleck's Batman, we all do agree that in Batman v Superman, we're like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, okay, I'll swing with that guy.
That fucking scene where he takes out 12 guys trying to save Clark Kent's mom, spoilers.
Yeah.
Martha. I didn't want to say it, but yes, Martha. So he said it too much in the movie. Is like a fantastic fucking
Totally.
scene.
Like, it is totally serviceable. Everybody was on board. I'd like to see more of this. And then you get Justice League, which most people did not feel was good enough to help buoy a performance. And his performance was not so great. You're like, you know what? That movie blew. But that motherfucking Batman was awesome. The rising tide did not lift that particular boat.
But if you can delete Christian Bale, will not Ben Affleck be much a better character?
Let me translate. If
Sorry, my drink.
In a world without Christian Bale's performance to judge it against,
Yes, absolutely. That's
most
what I mean.
people wouldn't be as shitty about Ben's
Yes,
Batman.
that's exactly my point.
That question deserves tickets. Give it up for me, 1 ticket. Give that microphone right to him right now. Well done, well done. Give him a mic. He needs that mic. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, give it up. Thank you, Jose. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. All right, where are we going next, JC?
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, it's Holly. Everyone give it up for Holly.
Hi, Holly!
Hey. I actually just have something
No,
for
go ahead,
you.
back to the wall.
This
They've
way?
moved.
Okay.
There
I
you
have something for you.
Oh, what's up?
I'm going to take it off my jacket here. It is... okay. It is a little token from me and John Schnepp. Can I walk over there and hand
A
it to you?
good friend of ours, ladies and gentlemen, and a much better friend of Holly right here. That's fantastic. Oh my God, it's him. It's a cameo of Schnepp. Look at that. John Schnepp passed away while we were all at Comic-Con this year. And when I was doing my Hall H thing, I did a minute of silence for him and stuff. Schnepp
It was beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
Oh
It
my
really
good
was.
God, no worries. Schnepp was one of us. I talked about him here, I think, as well when we came back. King of the Sweaties, man. As much as a lot of us adored him, Holly adored him the most. Holly was his one true. So it's been a really, what I can only imagine has been an impossible month for you. How are you doing?
It's surreal. I don't know how to describe it any other way. But I am getting messages from him every single day. I'll tell you guys a little weird story. Actually, it kind of has something to do with you in a weird way. The time we did Fat Man on Batman, you and John had a conversation about milk that went on for quite some time.
Yes.
Because you...
I was a big milk aficionado.
Yes, you were chugging. And John is a chugger, okay?
Yeah.
So he would, like, drink all of my milk all of the time in the house. We would have to have separate milks. And when he would run out of his, he would dip into mine. And all I needed mine for was tea and cereal. And at one time, this is actually just about 2 months ago, he had knocked off all of my milk. And I was like, okay, you got to stop doing this. This is ridiculous. I don't use nearly as much as you do. You got to stop. And he's like, oh, all right, I'll yummy some right now. I'll order some yummy, which is what he did all the time. So he ordered 2 more gallons of milk from Yummy. And then as an apology, he got me some Andes Mints, which are my favorite chocolates. Right. And so so a week later, I had forgotten about the Andes Mints. We're watching some show, I don't know. And I'm looking in the fridge for the chocolates because I was like, oh, I have those chocolates. Gonna eat those chocolates now. And I looked for them. They were nowhere. I was like, John, where'd those apology chocolates go? Where were those? Where do you know where they went? And he's like, I ate them. And a week after he passed, I got a brick of Andes Mints in the mail delivered to me. That showed up on my front door, and it was.
You ordered them?
What's that?
Did he order them?
I don't know. I didn't know. It says Holly Payne on it, so I don't know if it was him or not. But it was definitely, one of those moments of just like, what the fuck is happening?
That's beautiful.
The other thing is that he was hoarding beyond death. Packages kept coming every single day after he passed away. And the first things that arrived was a comic book spinner rack the size of me. To the front.
Hey Kids Comics, one of those, the kind of say, Hey Kids Comics.
Exactly. So I had to carry that motherfucker through the house and back to his office. And the things kept showing up, like a MODOK ice cube tray mold. Just stuff like this was constantly showing up. But it was just, him kind of, saying, I'm still here. You know what I mean? I haven't gone anywhere.
That's
so
really beautiful.
That's been.
I think that my favorite. I saw a lot of tweets about Schnepp's passing, but one of my favorite that kind of put it right on Front Street for me was he was the only motherfucker who gave a fuck about Superman Lives, and he wouldn't rest.
That's right.
Until he figured it out.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's true. If you've never seen John and Holly's documentary, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened? It's not. I don't just say this because it's a genre and we fucking love this stuff. It's a wonderful documentary if you're into our world, the world of genre, the world of sci-fi, the world of comic book movies and stuff like that, world of entertainment. But I think if you're just a fan of documentaries in general,
and film
it's
in
a
general.
fantastic.
If you're a creative person, if you're
Yes.
interested in creativity, period, there's something for everyone.
But
from
there's
that film.
the superficial story of what it's about, which is how that movie didn't happen, a version of the Superman movie with Nick Cage playing Superman. And Schnepp and Holly tracked down like fucking everybody. Even though Nick Cage
Nick
didn't
regrets
sit
it
for
now,
a
by
new
the
one,
way.
yeah, that he would have sat for it. They still got that amazing footage of him dressing up in the costume,
Yep.
like shit that nobody had ever seen before, not even me, and I worked on the fucking thing. So it's an amazing documentary if you've never seen it. And that tweet brought it home because it's true. It's like that was a passion project. Nobody was ever going to get to the bottom of that. It was just something that would have been lost in the winds to history. But you and him had such passion for it, you manifested an amazing documentary and sat down with people like fucking Tim Burton.
John Peters.
And John Peters. I love that doc because like for years I've been telling my Superman story and people are like, John Peters doesn't really exist, does he? And then when that movie came out, I'm like, look!
Yes,
like,
he does. In all his glory.
I've been in 500 street fights.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God! I remember seeing the movie where at the
Egyptian.
The Egyptian.
Yeah.
And I was so elated for that moment because the audience is like laughing as he's sitting there talking about street fighting, and I was like, I knew I wasn't crazy. Like, but in any event, Schnepp and Holly went forward after that and put together a series of
Yes, we
docs.
we
What is
actually
it?
we have 6 rough cuts of 6 episodes of the What Happened series, which is 6 more unmade films. I can't reveal what those films are.
I know what they are. They're good.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
I know all
when
the fucking
things-
things, man.
Yeah, I do. I know some of the things.
Like Oz.
No, not at all.
Kevin knows all.
As soon as your life calms down and whatnot,
Yeah.
that's something that we're gonna make sure that we do for the King of the Sweaties.
Yeah.
If I'm imagining correctly, he's in that footage, isn't he?
Oh, he's
'Cause
all
he
over
was
it.
the guy.
This is his legacy. This is going to be the last time we're going to see him on screen. So there's
So-
a lot. There's a lot of projects he was working on, but this is going to be the last,
One
TV
that
series
he's
that we'll see him
yeah.
in. Yeah.
So we're gonna go find that a home.
Awesome.
As soon as we can, man. It sucked to lose him for me, and I was just an admirer.
It was mutual.
I can't. Yeah, he was darling, but I can't imagine what it's like for you. Anything you need, we're all here for you, of course.
Thanks, Kevin.
Give it up for Holly.
Thank you.
We love you, Holly. Take some tickets. Go see a movie. All right, JC, where do we want to go next? What's your name, good sir?
Hi, my name is David.
David?
David?
Hey, we'll give it up for David.
David! Where are you from, David?
I'm from God's country, Scotland.
Ah.
Right on, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, lovely place in the world. You should all visit. It's lovely.
I've been there.
Really nice.
Where? What part of where in Scotland? Scotland.
Well, so just north of Edinburgh, there's a little place called the Kingdom of Fife, and that's where I stay. And
You live in a kingdom?
Kevin, it's all mine as well. You know? So, in the Kingdom of Fife, I have a son, and I have 3 sons, and my eldest son, 15 years old. We've got this running argument that I hope that you two can help us out with tonight.
We'll try.
We've got an argument on a straight race between Superman and the Flash. Now, I know you've got a vested interest in Flash and whatever. I say...
You think I'm in the bag for Flash, don't you?
I absolutely 100% do.
I have worked with Supergirl, so that's Superman adjacent
of course,
as well.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. But I am 100% in Superman's camp.
Yes.
My 15-year-old son is 100% in the Flash's camp. Who would win in a straight race, the Flash or Superman?
Are they both allowed to use their powers?
100%.
All right, I'm going to give this some serious fucking thought. More thought than Joss Whedon ever gave it, I assure you. Although I love that little button in the movie. I thought that was adorable. Like fucking, hey.
But remember, Superman reversed time. So that's all I'm saying, by going fast.
That's my argument would always lean toward, if we're talking about Superman and you're including every incarnation of Superman, that includes Superman from Richard Donner's Superman 1, who somehow has the ability to fly so fucking fast backwards that he can turn back time. Now, that was flying.
But that's using all his powers. Every power that they've got.
So, but if they're having a race, he's allowed to fly. It's not just
course.
feet. Then hands
It's
down,
a race, it's a
fucking,
distance,
hands
isn't it?
down,
It's
it's
from
Superman standing next to Flash. And
Point
by
A
the
to
time
point B.
Flash asks the question, let's race to see who's fastest, Superman's like, I beat you 10 seconds ago. Like, it's got the time. He's so fucking fast. The time. Your kid says Flash?
Yeah, he does.
I mean, the Barry Allen
because
thing.
of the alternate universes and the things where he can jump forward and stuff like, he's totally believes that Flash would be the winner every single time.
I mean, there's that. Flash has the ability to run so fast he can travel through time and dimensions as well. But here, on the TV show at least, and probably in a lot of Flash comics, there's always this trope of, I've got to get faster. Like, if only you were fast enough, Barry. You never hear that. Nobody ever says to Superman, if only you were more super. Like
Superman, super.
Like, he's Jesus. Go ahead.
They both go back in time, though.
They do both go back in time, but I'm...
So how does that, that's equal?
Yes, but that's why I pulled what I say is the Barry from TV is always not fast enough. He won't be fast enough until they get to the last season, and then they're like, my God, Barry, you did it, and then credits.
You're so much faster.
Yes, so if we're including every incarnation of the character, then Superman can travel through time just like Flash, but Flash always needs to somehow get faster, so I give Superman the edge. Plus, he's older. I don't know why, but for me, in my mind, too, that has something to do with it. More experience.
Could you just say on camera, Cole, I'm sorry,
What's
but
his
your
name? Cole?
dad's right. Cole, I'm sorry, your dad's right. Superman wins.
Cole, I'm sorry, but your dad is right. Superman wins.
Yeah, baby!
But as a consolation prize, I'm going to sing you a little song I heard in a movie many years ago. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Cole. That was from Mr. Holland's Opus. Over to you, Mark.
Okay.
You don't remember any of Mr. Holland's Opus,
I remember
do you?
all of Mr. Holland's Opus.
Remember he sings at the end? He
Totally.
finally sings to his
Because
kid who's hard of hearing?
Right, and he's the musician who never got to be a fucking musician. So
Yes.
his opus was the class of kids that he taught who eventually come back to the reunion.
Doesn't that make you want to watch the movie again?
Not as much, but I want to hear you tell me about it.
Not as much. All right, what do you got? You got an answer for...
I have an answer because I think that one of their powers is based in physics, in science, in what can be achieved by the use of natural forces, give or take.
Okay.
Even if one of them is a speed force.
Okay.
And the other one is all about will. Superman's power is derived by the strength of his will. He can lift as much as he can lift because he wants to, he chooses to. He can run as fast as he can run because he chooses to. He's a being of pure will. And that level of will, and Superman of all fucking people, the will of a god, I feel like there is no limit to how fast or how strong or how far he can do anything he wants to do. So Cole, I'm sorry, but, but your way down is right on this one.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Excellent job. Give it up for him. You win tickets. Take them tickets. How long you here in Los Angeles?
The next 4 nights.
4 nights? Go
you
see
can
a
make it
fucking
downtown.
movie, man. Pleasure. Give it up for him, man.
Hey.
Cole is going to be so disappointed. Hi, what's your name?
I'm Maria Cunha.
Mar-
You wish me a happy birthday at Hollywood Babylon Comic Con.
Oh my God.
Cunha, put it in her Cunha.
Makuna Matata, did we make that joke?
Yep, that was
All right,
it.
what is your first name?
Maria.
Maria?
What
Everyone
kind
give
of
it up for
fucking show
Maria.
did you do at Babylon?
One of those shows.
First of all, I have to say, I would have paid $100 to follow the first guy.
Why?
Because that was easy to follow.
That was, yeah, that's true.
So I saw you get your ink pot at Comic Con.
thank you.
Saw Hollywood on Babylon after you got your ink pot. It was
Thank
amazing.
you. We did. We're the Inkpot Brothers.
We are.
It's amazing.
Not racist at all.
Also, shameless plug. This is our sci-fi sci-fi fan bar in San Jose. We'd love to have a podcast there sometime.
It's in San Jose.
San Jose.
Done in San Jose's up by, like where the Sharks play.
Exactly.
So that's a flight.
San Jose Improv. You've been there before.
I've been there many
We've been there to
times.
see you.
Yes, and I have driven there. That's doable.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
I did once a long time ago.
So obviously we've been fans of Kevin Smith forever, Clerks and everything. But Marc Bernardin, we find you because of the podcast here. And in my Facebook memories is all the articles you've written over the years that I didn't even know I was sharing that
you.
were from you that you've written. So
Oh, that's
I love what
awesome.
you write.
That's sweet.
And
So kind.
we want both of you to sign the hat, please.
Oh, okay.
So my question is...
So wait, you have a geek themed bar as well?
Yes, in
Now
San
it's
Jose.
called 7 Star. What is it? Phil's?
7
PM.
stars.
7 stars.
Sign them both.
Sign them both.
PM,
7 stars.
7
What
stars.
is your theme? Here we're trying to figure out what JC's theme is. I can't put my finger
Unclear.
on it, but
Is it a Last Starfighter bar?
Yeah,
Unofficially, Star Wars.
your bar is
Unofficially.
unofficially Star Wars?
Unofficially.
Well, I don't know if you should do that. That's awesome, man. So what is, how long you guys been open?
We're in our 8th year. We just started our 8th year this month.
Right on. And here I thought fucking JC had invented the idea.
He came at it a totally different direction from ours, and we send all our people that are coming this way to come here and see this. We've been here at least 20 times since it opened in last May.
That's so
and we
supportive,
love it.
man.
We love
Thank
it.
you.
Fellowship of the Bar.
Yes. Have you been to 7 stars, JC?
Soon.
Fucking prick, man. Get your ass to San Jose.
He knows the way.
So
Anywho.
my question is, as someone who's not in the entertainment business at all, I've heard you both talk about how you direct The Flash, and we saw your Castle Rock episode 6, amazing.
No, thank you.
But someone who's not in the entertainment business, I'm really curious where the showrunner runs a timeline, where the writer takes over, what he says, where the director takes over and what he does. I'd like to hear you guys explain the impact that you have on the episodes that you write and direct for.
Ooh, me too.
Ooh, hey now. Okay.
You've got more experience in television than I do. I can pick up directors, but go ahead. You
I have
do
a
it.
bit more.
Yeah.
So the way television works is, if I show up to work on the first day in the writer's room of a show, there will probably be a pilot script. There will be some document that we've all read that tells us kind of what the showrunner is thinking. And he will say to us, all right, we have 10 episodes to tell a story. Where should it start and where should it end? And then we talk for about 2 or 3 weeks about just the broad strokes of the story. We know we want these characters in it. We kind of know we want it to end here. We kind of have a sense that we want these 2 people to fall in love and that guy to kill that guy, and like the big moves.
Is this called the blue sky period?
This is a bit of the blue sky period. What could the show be if it could be anything? What could it do if it could do anything? And after that blue sky period, usually a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, it becomes, all right, here's the story we want to tell. How do we break that into episodes? If it's 10 episodes, then episode 3 will be this, followed by 4, which is this. And those are just like index cards on a wall. This is the episode in which the prisoner gets out of Shawshank, is literally the thing on the wall. And the next episode is, here's the episode where Henry hears the thing.
Episode 6.
Episode 6. And so we then say, okay, this is great. These feel like the right chunks of those stories. Now we'll take episode 1 and say, what are the dozen scenes or so that are going to be in episode 1? It's basically working from giant to small. It's macro to micro. And the entire room, the entire time, is throwing ideas at the showrunner and saying, what if we did this? What if we did this? What if What if in episode 4, Henry he's in a prison escape and a gun goes over right next to his ear and it gives him tinnitus. But what if that tinnitus is tying back into another sound that's kind of keyed into the rest of his life? That was my pitch. That's how I ended up doing episode 6, because I was like, hey, what if, we had also talked a lot about Castle Rock being the town that evil was drawn to, because there was a low frequency epicenter of sound in that town. And it's a scientific fucking thing. There are birds that will just circle because they're drawn by a sound, and they will die circling over that sound. And so what if Castle Rock was that kind of place? And what if Henry was the only person who could really hear that sound? And how would he unlock that memory of that sound? Gunfire, and the ringing in his ear, and that'll tie into this whole fucking thing, and we'll start explaining what the show is with that idea. So as a writer, we're all doing that. We're all just, what if we did this? What if we did that? What if in this scene, he's standing on the top of a fucking, gas and sip, and he sees the future ahead of him? In this scene, what if fucking Sissy Spectre dives off a bridge? In this scene, what if? That's all that job is. For a good couple of months, at least in Castle Rock, that's what it was. And then once we're all satisfied with the what if, once those boards are filled with scenes for every episode, writers go off and write. And then it's the hard work of sitting by yourself in a room with your laptop and just like, all right, interior, fucking blah, blah, blah. Henry walks down a hallway and everything is fucking scary. And that's that part of the job. You finish the script, you give it back to the room, to the showrunner, they all read it, they all give it notes, and then it's being shot. And that's when you bring in a director who will say, all right, hey, Kev, listen, we think you would be great for this. I didn't do that because I wasn't in that position to be like, I think Kev would be awesome for this. I was a baby writer on Castle Rock, so I had no real juice beyond, hey, I think I have some decent ideas, maybe they'll be of some use. But then they will hire directors who will come in and they will read the script, and there will be like tone meetings and say, here's kind of what the episode should feel like, here's what it needs to accomplish, here's what happens to the story after, here's what happens to the story before, here's the emotional baton you have to carry, here's the plot threads you have to connect, and then go off and make us a TV show. Right?
That sounds pretty accurate. I usually come into the process much later, like on the CW stuff I've done, the Flashes and the Supergirls. It's been after the shows have been up and running. They've figured out their seasons. They've started writing all their scripts, and so I'm just one of those. You don't have much input as the director. You can't really shape the show unless you direct the pilot. Then it's all about what you do. But when you're coming onto an existing show, like even in Castle Rock, whoever did the pilot set the tone for the show. Whoever directed episode 5 is doing variations of the pilot, essentially. So for me, when I get into the process, it's everything's been set. They've done all that shit, and then I get a script. And they're also pretty tight about, like, they don't want you to change anything. So it's not like as director I could be like, you know what, man, like, I don't like the gas and sip scene. Like, I don't want to shoot that or rewrite something better. Chances are the director has no power to make those changes. Like, I would say that to the writers or the showrunner, and writers are pretty unified front, and I'm sure they'd be like, all right, well, fuck you, we'll get a different director. Like, because the writer is king in that medium, and they want the director to execute and or elevate their vision, not bring the director's vision to it and stuff like that. So when I'm involved in the process that way, I'm just a pair of hands that's on set going, action, cut. Most of the power lies in their hands. Like, when I'm done shooting all that footage, I send it back to production, and the showrunner sits there, and an editor will put it together, but a showrunner is the one going to be like, lose this, keep this, lose this. The showrunner is essentially, in TV or streaming or whatever, is what the director is in film. Just like everything. Like, you've got all the fucking power. Everything rests on you. And your game's on your stick, good or bad. So if you fuck it up, everyone blames you. If you do a great job, everyone fucking blames you and stuff. I'm working on a different thing now that I'm in a different end of the process, where if everything works out well, then I would be a showrunner, which would lend more toward what I'm used to doing in the day job as a movie maker and stuff. And we'll see if it keeps going forward and stuff. But listening to that was helpful for me, because I will be, if everything goes well, I'll be heading to the next step where it's like, okay, we got to pull together a writer's room. And unlike most writer's rooms, like, it wouldn't be a situation of like, what will this show be? There's a map already. Like, that's one of the things that I was brought on to do. So I'm going to be able to see both sides of that equation. And it's been nice doing the CW stuff just as an observer, because, you know, you can pick and choose how you would do it. I've now done it enough where I can look and see how a showrunner runs a show and form an opinion on how I would do it. Would I do it that way? Would I do it a different way? And most of the time I'm like, this is all good. Maybe I would change this or do this a little bit different. So that's been good training for if this thing winds up happening. If this thing doesn't wind up happening, there's another TV show that I've been working on. And if that one doesn't wind up happening, there's a fucking third. I'm spinning a lot of plates.
We will
post-heart
fund it.
attack.
We will fund it.
I just need one of them to go, man. So I'll let you know as soon as it gets close and stuff. It would be cool if it goes, though. But I'll find out what it'll be like to be a showrunner and stuff. That'd be nice to be able to be like, this is what I had, my ideas for the story. Take this script and go run with it. And then watch people hand back better versions of ideas I had. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
That was a great question.
That was awesome.
That was great. Give her tickets, everybody.
Oh, you get tickets.
Applause for that question. Put it there. Don't leave me hanging. Well done. What's your name, young
Hi,
camper?
I'm Bart.
Bart?
Bart, yeah.
Give it up for fucking Bart, man. It's like a good name from our childhood. You never hear of Bart.
Sheriff Bart.
Yeah.
It's
Bart.
actually my graffiti name. I chose it because I like the
You
Simpsons.
picked the name? What name did they give you?
Yeah.
What name did they give you?
I'm from Burma, so I came all the way from Burma to see your show, actually.
Number
Shut
one,
the fuck up.
thank you. Number two, quit bragging. What is your, so what is your name? What's your real name? You picked.
My Burmese name is Jo Mukai, but no one can announce it.
Say it again.
Jo Mukai.
Joe
Jomokai?
Mukan.
Jo Mukai.
Jamokai?
It's a
No one fucking get it.
You're like, it's Bart, bitch. Bart.
Bart.
Fair enough. What can we do you for, Bart? And where are you? Where are you from?
I'm from Myanmar, also known as Burma.
Burma. Where? And now I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. Where is Burma?
It's between Thai, India, China. It's in Asia.
Holy shit.
Southeast
so
Asia?
you and
Southeast
Scotland
Asia.
came the farthest to see this fucking show tonight,
Yeah.
man. Give it up for him. He's from Burma, for heaven's sake.
I think Scotland and Burma should fight to see who gets the trophy.
Yeah.
came the
Who loves
furthest.
us more? Do it for Cole.
I've been listening to the show since my first year of college.
Thank you.
Since Paul Dini episode.
Ah,
And
great episode.
I was a fan of Clerks and Dogma and everything. Because
Thank you.
there is a fan base of Kevin Smith in Burma.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You could
This
be
Kevin Smith?
Yeah. And they're all my friends.
They know me there?
You know how they know you? Because I show them the movies.
Thank you.
I have sleepover parties, and I do Clerks, Clerks 2, Dogma, and Mallrats Marathon.
I've never thought of doing that myself. I'm going to start having sleepover parties as well. Invite some people that don't like these
Who's on the
movies.
front end of the circle jerk when you guys are watching all those movies?
The group is called Geekamania Burma, so shout out to you guys, all of you guys.
What's it called?
Geekamania Burma.
Geekamania Burma.
Yeah.
Right on.
So I have two questions.
Fire away.
The
You came a long way. You get them both.
The first question is, if Marc was to write a movie for you and play with the View SQ Universe toys, like Randall, Dante, Jay and Silent Bob, Loki, all of those guys, what would you do? And
Let him think about that, because that's you got to build. I won't make you. But that's a great fucking question. I would be curious to see what you would do.
As am I.
yeah.
But let's go for the second. Maybe I can answer.
The
while
second
you-
one is, when are you getting Neil Gaiman to do Fat Man on Sandman?
Oh, God, what a great fucking call. Yes, hopefully soon. I mean, we've been doing this show for years. I've known Neil for years, going further back than that. He was a voice. I still like fucking giggle to this day. Neil did a voice in Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie. He was the butler, Albert, and shit. And hearing his fucking like dulcet British tones in the middle of that cartoon while Jay's making butt fucking jokes is a career low for him, but I think I could probably get him on the show, man. I just got to ask him next time he's in Los Angeles. I'll come over. He's had a very busy year because he show ran Good Omens. Like he's, they're doing American Gods.
Right.
Second season, I think, right now. But he didn't show run that show. It's based on his work. But Good Omens, he oversaw personally. I think it was the first show he's ever show run.
Right.
Because he loves his book, but more importantly, he was a dear friend of Terry Pratchett, the co-author on that book. So Neil was like, I got to make sure that I do Terry justice and stuff. So he's been very busy, but I saw him very briefly at IMDb when I was interviewing people at San Diego on the boat and stuff. And we talked about, like, you got to come over and chit-chat. So sooner rather than later. Hopefully, maybe we'd even get him to come in to the bar. That'd be fucking phenomenal. And I think, he's British, so he might like bars. So I think we might be able to get him to come in too. But
I'm sure there's going to be a press swing for Good Omens probably in the fall, winter, so maybe.
So that seems like the most likely, probably around there, man. But yeah, definitely, because that dude inspired me as a writer when I was a kid. I've said many times, like, before I started my journey, like before I went and made Clerks and stuff, the last pop culture meals that I nourished myself with, like, carried me for 10 years and, like, was all over the work. That's why there's lots of Star Wars references and shit like that. But one of them, big one, was Neil Gaiman. I was a massive Sandman fan, and I loved the book Good Omens as well. I don't get to Dogma without the existence of Sandman and Neil's work. So it would be an honor to kind of kick back with them and just hold forth. And if we brought him in here, my God, everyone would walk out so much smarter. That dude he just exudes writer's confidence and fills you with a sense of that as well. Like, he's good people. So great suggestion. I'm gonna put that in my head, make sure it happens more recent than not. But he's right, probably would be around Good Omens time.
You and George Carlin and Neil Gaiman are my inspiration to do art.
You're gonna make me cry, man. My God, that's fucking great company. Thank you. And I met the other guy, and he was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm always happy to report that Carlin was the goods. It wasn't like, oh, well, George was George. He was just good fucking people, man. Good dude. So thank you for the company I'm keeping there.
Welcome.
You.
Okay, you will have to help me with names because I don't quite remember these character names.
Fair enough.
I would like to do a Flowers for Algernon story. And if you guys don't know Flowers for Algernon, it was made into this movie called Charlie, starring Cliff Robertson, where there was a sort of simple-minded, what would be characterized today as like kind of autistic janitor who was working at a test laboratory to create and enhance human intelligence. And they tested on this rat called Algernon, and Algernon can suddenly do mazes that he could never do before. He's super fucking smart. And so they're like, hey, it works. Let's give it to this simpleton janitor. And this guy becomes a fucking genius, for the real legit genius. Can do social interactions like he couldn't have. He falls in love with one of the lab researchers.
He becomes a cause de célébrer.
Absolutely, becomes famous and everything. And then you see that the rat Algernon, that they had first injected with, they find him unable to do the maze anymore. Mm-hmm. So they realize that this is a temporary effect. And then by the end of the short story anyway, the Algernon dies. Mm-hmm. And so they change it for the movie because that's far fucking grimmer than you actually want it to be, but it's the rise of a guy who goes from being simple to having everything and then losing it and knowing he's going to lose it all. Mm-hmm. And just that, like, I need to have a minute of my life. I need to remember everything that happens before I can't remember anything.
Are you else. Talking about my biography?
So I want to do that story with the orangutan from Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back. Suzanne. The orangutan that becomes hyper fucking intelligent and realizes that he's trapped in a man's world and has no place left to go. But by the end of it, suddenly, slowly begins to drift back into apedom, forgetting all of the joys and wonders that he spent with Will Ferrell at his side.
And now you see how we get talking gorillas in comics and movies, man. I gave you the keys to the kingdom. The first thing you thought of was like talking gorilla.
All I want, man, is to win a Best Popular Film Oscar And I think I can do it.
Speaking of fucking, I mean, this is apropos of nothing, but have you seen the trailer for this movie, Alpha?
Yes, like 9 times.
I want to see it. It looks legit good. If anyone hasn't seen the trailer for it, it's the story of the first dog. Essentially,
It's the first boy and his dog story.
yes, like it's a story about how man met dog, and these two start hanging out and bond and make a friendship. I watched the fucking trailer. I was bawling 30 seconds in. I was like, oh God, they're gonna be friends forever. Looks fucking beautiful, man, but it sounds like that.
I thought I was going to get Clan of the Cave Bear from that, and then it's like, no, it's just a boy and his dog.
It's a bunch of feels.
All right.
It's the feels.
So yes, that is the thing that I would do.
I would love that. I would love to see that movie. But can I point out that the ending of Flowers to Algernon, well, Charlie, the movie Charlie with Cliff Robertson, Spider-Man's Uncle Ben played Charlie. You've watched him go from being simple to being super smart, and then you watch him lose it and he gets frustrated because he knows he's going eventually to be back to the place he was. So he's aware of that it's coming. Whereas Charlie never was. Before he was given the serum, Charlie was happy and didn't know that he was at a deficit or some such shit. So the last image of that movie haunted me, still does, as a kid, man. They go to see him in like the room that he's in, and the lady who was involved with him, the scientist, says, Charlie, and he turns around and he has the simple smile that he had in the beginning of the movie. And it's so heartbreaking because, it's like, oh my God, now he's completely gone. I only tell you that story because there's an ending to a movie that I made that a lot of people didn't like. They're like, the movie's hard enough, but that movie ending is fucking stupid. And it was the ending of Tusk. At the end of Tusk, she goes to see him in a little zoo, and he's there and shit. Same fucking moment I stole from fucking Charlie. Moment haunted me my whole life that when I made Tusk, I was like, I'm doing the Charlie thing, man. That was a great fucking answer. That was a great question. Give it up for our man from Burma.
Bart.
Well done, Bart. Bart from Burma. Goddamn pleasure,
Can I take
man.
a picture with you guys later? Too?
Absolutely. Grab
Thank
us
you
right
so much.
afterwards.
I'm jealous of your hair, though, man.
Yeah, it's a fucking lion's
Jesus
mane of hair, man. 4 years to grow that? Yeah. Fuck.
It's wavy and glorious.
I remember youth. What is this? Anybody? Do we get to keep this, or we meant to? We keep it. We don't have to sign it. What is it?
What is? Oh, the box?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a comic book coffee bar down in Oceanside, so we wanted to come up and bring some of.
Come
our
up here
mugs
so
and
people
teach-
can see you on the show. Otherwise, we won't say. Give it up for the kids with the coffee bar from Oceanside. Right against that wall right there, and then the camera will see you. What is the place? Is it on your shirt? Is it called Panels?
Yes, sir.
What into the mic? What is it?
Panels Comic Book Coffee Bar,
Where is it?
Oceanside, California.
Give them a website.
So it's Panels Coffee. You can find us on social media. It's at Panels Coffee everywhere, so you can find us on there. Panels
So
Coffee.
do you
Into
have-
the microphone, right into
Do
the
you
mic.
have
sorry.
comic books and coffee?
Yes, sir. Comics and coffee.
How dare you put those two things together?
It's an awesome experience, I gotta tell you.
How long you guys been in business?
About a year. We're having our anniversary September 1st.
Fucking A, what are you doing? Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you observing the anniversary? Parties,
We're going to
specials, or
have
some shit?
live music. We're going to do some art workshops for comics for all ages of people. Then we're going to have some local comics creators down there for some panels.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah.
And are you guys a couple?
Yes, my fiance Lachelle. My name's
Whoa,
Eris.
right
And my brother is actually one of the owners as well. He's actually the Daredevil comic that you signed earlier.
on. Oh, get out of here, really?
Yeah.
We were hoping both of you guys could sign the white mug, but the rest of it you can keep.
Yes,
So
we
some
wanted to
both of
know-
us
yeah,
tag
wanted-
this? That's
yeah,
why I
if you
wanted
guys
to
wouldn't
ask.
mind,
I didn't
we'll
want to
have-
walk out with all your shit and you're like, some of
But
that was
we
for
were gonna
us.
put that on the thing.
I don't mind, yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, cool. And we're really pumped for the Hit Girl comic, gotta say. So,
Which one?
the Hit Girl.
It's fucking good.
can't
The story's fun and stuff, but her art is just gonna send it over the moon because it's like incredibly violent story,
Oh, yeah.
and her style is very Kim Possible to some degree. So it's gonna be nice to see what all that blood looks like drawn like that. What's the weirdest thing that's happened since you guys have had the business?
Oh man, it's crazy because it's comics and coffee. So we get people all the time that come into a comic shop that don't know that they still make comics sometimes. And so the funniest question we get, oh, that's awesome, thank you so much.
Come get it.
Oh yeah, thank you. I thought you were just showing it to me.
So, yeah, I'm like, look at this, I can write my name. So what happened?
So people come in all the time and say like, so is this like your personal collection right here?
So they don't realize it's an actual store?
Yeah, but that's the coolest part because, you know, so many people nowadays don't realize, you know, if you don't know about comic books, you'd never find a comic shop. So because it's coffee and comics, we get to pull in people all the time and introduce them to the medium, and it's the best part of it.
It's fucking smart, too, because it, like, you know, not everyone likes comics, but everybody seems to like fucking coffee. So
yeah, exactly.
It gives them a reason to come in. What does it look? Does it look more like a comic book store or a coffee store from the outside?
A little bit of both, honestly. So it's a lot of focus on new books, new trades, and publications every Wednesday.
Right.
We wanted to focus something a little more open, less like a warehouse, more like an open coffee bar with books all over the walls.
Fucking A, man. That's awesome. What a great idea, like, brought to life. Give it up for the kids from Panels, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for the stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the Scum and Villainy Cantina here in Hollywood, California. Did you have a good time this evening? If you had a good time at all, it was only because of the guy standing there. Don't forget, this is yours, the 7 stars, folks. This is you guys. If you had a good time tonight, it's only because of the man standing to my left. Give it up for the great Marc Bernardin. Marc Bernardin. And that is Fat Man on Batman for this week. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time, same fat channel, smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Good night, everybody!